Hello everybody, welcome to another PKMN Full Item Randomizer race. We've got a second round bracket stage match. This is the top 16 between Snorms and PrismZetta. I'm Garfield Lightning, and I will be joined by Rallen Tank here shortly. He's just gonna do a bit of setup once the race has started. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Snorms definitely one of the big favorites this tournament, but you know, I'm enjoying seeing Prism get the result that he kind of got. He in the bingo tournament, he kind of went out earlier than he should have done. So I'm really happy that I'm seeing him go this far. And you know, his story may not be over yet. This will definitely be his toughest test yet. But I'm here for it. I'm here for the upsets. But yeah, wonder what starters we'll see today. It's not as important in Full Item Rando what starter you get in general, because you do often end up main switching to a high level Pokemon. But you know, rarely you do see the early things go the distance. Just as long as it's not something too. I don't want to see any Mewtwo's. That's all I want, really. No Mewtwo's, please, and I'll be fine. Storms has named himself Quaxley, so maybe we'll see, like, I don't know, a Golduck or something. That's probably the closest thing to Quaxley in this game, right? But yeah, let's have a look. Well, it's a bird. That's kind of Quaxley-esque. Well, this is some absolute garbage for the starters, so I don't. Yeah, I guess we won't be taking the Pidgey to the end, probably. But yeah, it's it is the fastest out of all of these, at least, so it should be able to run away from more stuff than the other two. But yeah, Rallen has joined me now. Oh, it has Sweet Scent, though.
That is nice. Hello everyone. Finished all the setup stuff, so let's see what this has in store for us. The start definitely is promising some interesting things to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, we do have force fully evolved Pokemon this first route, and if we do get something really fast, it's possible Pidgey might just wipe and we might get sent back. But it's probably fast enough where it can run away from most things with level advantage. Well, this is Tyranitar. We do have the Rock Slide TM, so that could be something to keep in mind if no one wants to come back for that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a Blastoise, we have Tyranitar, so there's definitely options to go back to Route 29 to search for a main. We'll see if one of our runners decides to do that, or if they just move on to Route 30. Hope they will find something on there.
Yeah, I feel like usually when this gets brought up, they just end up going to Route 30 anyway, just because they do have high level Pokemon there. But maybe this will be the exception. Nope, they're both going to 30.
Parasect, not a great start.
Yeah, no, 2 4x weaknesses, as well as being slow and not that strong. I don't really want anything to do with that. Poliwrath is here too.
Slightly better choice, but still not really good.
This is more like it. I'm doing Mew. Alright, we're seeing some decent stuff now.
Oh, and the polka doll hidden. That's an interesting item to have.
Yeah, that's super nice. We can use that to maybe get away from the shiny later on.
Ooh.
Ancient Power, Bubble Beam, Ice Punch, I think I saw. So,
Yep.
pretty decent, you know, decent coverage there.
Yeah, I'd take that.
You're a little bit walled on water, there's only 5 Ancient Power PP. Espeon has Headbutt, so that's interesting.
Yeah, and it does have Razor Leaf as a move, but moveset isn't great otherwise.
Yeah, well, Snorms did not go to headbutt those trees, so it looks like he's content enough to go with one special move Espeon for the time being. Hope it gets something better later. Espeon is one of those Pokemon with a lot of potential with that 130 special attack stat.
The first trainer definitely won't be that hard for Espeon, that Razor Leaf being able to be super effective on Lapras.
Did both of this guy's Pokemon have Skull Bash? What is
I
this?
think so.
Well, you know, it's on theme, I guess. You can kind of already see a little bit that there's a difference in experience curve with a legendary. They're both level 6, but Espeon does have like a bit more of a blue bar, and that difference will only get bigger as the race goes on. If they do decide to stick with these two, legendaries do have that slower experience curve in the settings we're using. Where are all the key items?
Not here on the first route, that's for sure. So, probably going to go to the escape rope chamber first. Although, both have a Pokemon where you can reasonably say, well, I can run this for a while. Might just blow up Sprout Tower, but we do not have an escape rope yet, so that would be slightly risky. Solar Beam.
Solar Beam would be nice for the Mew for the time being, just to hit those water types a bit better than the moves we got right now.
Yeah. But annoying as it is a two-turn move, which you really do not want to rely on if you don't have to. But
Yeah,
currently,
it's not ideal. But like, there really aren't any good grass moves anyway.
Yeah, it somewhat shows that the best is probably Petal Dance, which locks you into using it, so...
Yeah, I mean, either that or Razor Leaf, which Snorms has right now. Even though it's only 55 power. Nothing in there either, wow.
Well, up the tower we go. Might just tackle the gym first. I think the Espeon could potentially handle it depending on what we run into, but still risky. And the tower, I believe 5 items. Nice XP to grab, and this early on when you do not have Squirt Bottle, you're most likely going to do this very early anyway.
Snorms keeps checking his TMs like, please, give me a move that... give me another special move that isn't Razor Leaf.
Prism teaching Rock Slide. Improving the ancient power PP a bit.
Yep, definitely a superior move.
And like also not one of the moves you really are eager to have on your main, there are better. So you definitely can feel a bit more liberal with it.
Yeah, it is the best rock type move, but you don't often run rock type Pokemon in this. Like, you don't see it all that often. You see it sometimes with Tyranitar and maybe Aerodactyl. That's like, and Kabutops, I guess. But it's kind of it, really, in terms of rock types.
Yeah, and Espeon does struggle a bit here on the first trainer. The Venusaur definitely not the greatest Pokemon to use Razor Leaf on. At least this Ledian does go down to Headbutt.
This guy's got 3 Pokemon that quad resist Razor Leaf. It's not a good time for Snorms, and Prism is catching up a bit on this fight alone.
First level up move for Espeon. Being Swagger does not really help. And there is a Kabutops. So if you wanted to run Stab Rock Slide in this, you could.
Yeah. The starters today were Pidgey, Sunken, and Cleffa. They were all not good. Both of them picked the Pidgey, likely because it was the fastest out of all of them, so could reasonably run away from stuff on the first route.
Yeah. And that Pidgey does have Sweet Scent, so at least that's not something we have to buy or pick up later if we want to switch mains. For example, on Cycling Road, we can get there.
Prism's coming up against a bulky water here. This is where Espeon will catch up a bit.
Well,
but,
Espeon's already passed this.
Oh, well, there you go then.
But yeah, this Politoed having Crunch really is not that good for the Mew. Should be having less trouble on the next fight though.
Well, we'll see, because like if the guy with the 3 Pokemon that resisted Razor Leaf, if they were like the similar levels to the Elder, then he could Snorms could have some problems. Anyway, find a first key item. Wow, finally, the red scale.
Oh, looks like we'll probably see runners turn around again and go back.
Yeah, I mean, we have nothing yet, so I would not be surprised.
And again, Elder starting with Pokemon resisting Razor Leaf.
Oh no, that's gotta resist Razor Leaf, alright.
Now with Dig, it dodges Supersonic. Fortunately, Dig not the strongest move, and it seems Ho's best move to it Espeon. Well, never mind, there's a Sludge Bomb.
Keeping that secret, wasn't he?
Oh, unfortunate. Rock Slide missing on the Ho, and it then uses a conversion to get into Fighting type.
Yeah, that's very unlucky, because Rock Slide probably would have one-shot that Ho, and now it's just wasting all that time. That is a very costly miss.
Gets a Freeze Storm. And Snorms gets a full heal to use for the poison, but we do have an antidote.
Violent Steel Wing, which I guess is another attacking move. That's about all I can really say about it. Because, yeah, it doesn't really help him at all, to be honest. Like, it's good against Rock and Steel, but he already has moves for Rock and Steel. No, not Rock and Ice, yeah. He's already got moves for those, so pretty useless.
Oh, and Prism indeed does go back to check the red scale. Snorms did hit the gym first.
Well, it was a waste of time.
Not yet. Prism did save reset away the Mr. Pokemon check.
Oh, that's right. Okay, never mind.
So has to go double.
Oh,
And
never
oof.
mind. Okay, absolutely not a waste of time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, that's definitely not something to really want to leave behind.
Yeah, not immediately terrible for Snorms if he decides not to do this, because he probably he might just pair this with turning into Kenya later on. But we'll see what he decides to do. Also, Snorms died to something. I wasn't actually seeing that what happened there.
I didn't pay attention to. I know there was an Umbreon as the level 9, which also gave Snorms trouble.
Yeah, there was a Nidoking, but I'm not sure what it did. Crit Shadow Ball, I see.
Ooh, yeah,
Makes
that
sense,
will
makes
do
sense.
it. Espeon's defense, not the best. Yeah, so crit Shadow Ball definitely hurts.
That is
Ooh,
Prism's third freeze
Yeah.
in recent memory.
That will make this Umbreon much nicer to deal with.
Can't believe I just saw Espeon one-shot something with Headbutt.
And what do you know? Another Pokemon quad-resisting Razor Leaf. This Espeon really doesn't get to start.
With Mega Horn too, yeah. That's he's got a max revive though, and he can take a Mega Horn, so he'll be okay.
Yeah.
But dang.
Non-Blizzard.
That's another freeze. Prism, what the heck?
The freeze chance on the Ice Punch should be 10% if I'm correct,
It should
right?
be.
Not 100 like it seems to currently.
Alright, so these two are still pretty close together. Prism, I guess, might be slightly ahead because he's checked the done Mr. Pokemon check. Looks like Snorms is going to do that now as well.
Yep. We do see that the Mew generally will struggle less with the kind of moveset it has against all these fire, flying, and bug type and poison type Pokemon. I mean, water type is supposed to be the most common type of Pokemon you encounter. There are just so many of them. So Razor Leaf should actually be a pretty good move against that. It really doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, what have we seen? We've only seen I only remember the Politoed being...
And the Lapras.
Yeah, okay, and the Lapras. But there's not been a whole lot.
Nope. A bit too quick there in the movement. Does run into the optional. We did find HM1 in the Pokemon Center here on Route 32, so cuts could be available pretty soon.
Yeah, we don't really have anything to unlock any new areas on its own right now. Just a few little things. But yeah, I'm sure after checking all these items, we'll see Snorms check the TMs again. See if we can finally get a special one. Card key for both of them. Good stuff.
Laser badge. Always an interesting one to find. It's the one that potentially would allow us to get to all islands, thus getting a look at the level 60 if we manage to find the silver wing.
Yep, we are quite a long way from that. We need Surf and the Fog Badge as well as the Silver Wing.
Ooh.
And, okay,
Yeah.
well that's a special move, alright. There we go. Snorms' patience rewarded a little bit here.
It still not really does help with, or it...
Doesn't help with Moltres, but it does help with
Yeah.
a lot of the things that do resist Razor Leaf. Those bug types, the grass types, all that kind of stuff.
And some of the flying types too.
But it is a high value TM. Are we going to see Snorms teach it now, or are we going to see him try and save it for a potentially higher level main?
Well, we
he's teaching
apparently
it.
teach it now. Yeah,
I think I would do that too. The
Yeah.
Espeon's been struggling so much. I think you definitely want to save some time in these fights with unwalling you from a lot of the stuff that you've been struggling on.
Also, Espeon is the main that you can potentially go all the way to the end with, so that is always an option. And Flamethrower is a very valuable TM, but it's not the highest valuable TM. You would prefer Ice Beam Thunderbolt kind of stuff on your main at the end. So Flamethrower of the valuable TMs probably one of the ones you have easier time to part with than others.
I guess as well. Speaking of Ice Beam, okay then.
Well,
all right, mate. But but regarding the fire moves, there are also, I guess in comparison to like the ice and electric moves, there are also other strong, good strong fire moves. Like Fire Blast has a bit more accuracy than Thunder or Blizzard. Sacred Fire is also usable. So you got a few more options there for a strong fire move if you want that.
Well,
Flamethrower is the best one though.
Yeah. And especially if you would have known that Espeon learns Ice Beam next, then you might probably have saved Flamethrower, as their coverage is pretty similar. But, well, there was no way to know that.
Yeah, and I mean Flamethrower still helps them against steel types and things as well.
Yep. We do not have Surf yet, so definitely has some use. And speaking of, there's some Steelix.
Yeah, it's amazing how this Espeon has just turned around with just 2 moves. Like we did say it earlier. It's one of those Pokemon with a high potential, and you can sort of see a glimpse of it, realizing that now.
Yeah. It was really just the start that was given a trouble, but oh, good thing we got an ice beam.
Yeah, we're seeing all these things that he would have struggled with just headbutt, and now he's just one-shotting them. It's gotta be. It's a good feeling when you're as a racer, definitely. But, you know, Prism is doing his Me's been going through these pretty quickly too. It's not like he's fallen behind massively or anything. He's just also one-shotting these things with the moves he's got.
No. The Mew definitely has a solid moveset. Dude can struggle with some of the water types maybe, but overall it's definitely a great moveset to have. The Fog Badge. Getting some nice badges early on here.
We're just a few HMs away from... Well, Surf is the big one, really. If we find HMO3, we can open up the world a bit more.
Just a max potion on the charcoal check. Fire Pokemon actually still a potential point of struggle for the Espeon.
Yeah, he just has to either like hope Headbutt does enough or pass through them with his strong special attack through the resistance.
Yeah.
But Surf will be guaranteed at some point, so that won't be a problem forever.
Well, it's basically guaranteed, but in theory it might not have to be found.
Yeah, I suppose you have to put an asterisk next to that. I've never seen Surf not be required. It is theoretically possible, though.
Rock Slide Clinch. Ooh, and Bugsy is required. We do have the expansion card. Still, does not really open up much more options currently. We have to see what is in Goldenrod, because we do need to find something that helps us progress. And Escape Edge is nice and does get us closer to the card B being actually relevant currently. But
there's the Silver Wing, so we can get that level 60 once we get access to Whirl Islands.
Oh, there's
our progression, good stuff. Storms might have preferred to see the Squirt Bottle just because he probably doesn't want to swap off this Espeon now, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he's tempted by the high level stuff.
I mean, it's really Snorms had so much struggle to get this working. Now it's really good, and you have to maybe switch off of it. It just feels bad. But we will see. Again, this Espeon is a very good main to run, and depending on what we find on Cycling Road, You might actually not really want to switch.
We are halfway to Surf as well, so... and there are even higher level Pokemon, Vermilion Water, if we do happen to get Surf soon, so that's another thing to keep in mind.
And there is still some items left here in Goldenrod and then in early Kanto, which we can grab, and maybe there is a Squirt Bottle very soon, or there is an SS ticket coming up, and we can go to North Johto. We did fight in another HM, but it's again one of those we do not have the badge for. That is strength here in the basement.
Maybe Whitney will give the playing badge.
I've seen vanilla badges in this recently, so yeah. Maybe.
This is pretty unusual for Prism going immediately for Whitney before checking anything else in Goldenrod.
I mean, this meal is definitely good, and yeah, I mean, you prefer to find Fly if you can, and is a check where it can be that your opponent might delay a bit, depending on their main. I don't know. There are definitely Pokemon you're less inclined to do this check this early with.
Kind of have to chip down the Slowking a bit, because it's, well, crit, burn, Sacred Fire, and all we really have to hit it with is Rock Slide. He does have a max revive though, so he can just heal and then get his last non-burned Rock Slide off.
Bomb Club. Not the greatest ground type move. That is probably better than Steel Wing.
Yeah, Steel Wing was just completely useless. Bone Club does at least give us super effective coverage against electric types. And poison types. Yeah, Whitney did not give us anything this time. These guys will probably be just really hoping to find Surf at some point before going to Kanto, having half of that already.
Yep.
So no surprise they're being thorough in these Goldenrod checks.
There's also not too much that you can do logically in Kanto yet, so yeah. Pretty good chance there's still something lying around here. I don't expect them to grab the candy and turn that in before going to Kanto, though. That would be very surprising to see.
That's a very long trek. I don't think we'll see that. If you get Surf, that kind of thing becomes more attractive because there are a few more checks you can do on your way back over there.
Ooh. Now, maybe you don't really want to find Surf, but prefer to find a Pokegear. Plus, that was a radio card.
Yeah, but 2/3 of the way to being able to wake up to Snorlax and get a level 50.
The Rainbow Wing.
Alright, so after that, Snorms is probably going to head into Kanto now, and we'll see what we can find there.
Depositing the egg. While taking the heal on the PC.
Oh, Snorms still has the underground to do, okay.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious. Snorms apparently didn't really go to the mart yet. Which... I mean, you still can do before you head to Kanto, but... usually most runners will do the end pretty much as soon as they enter Goldenrod.
Yeah, Prism just skipped straight past that and went straight to Whitney. Hopefully he doesn't forget about it.
I'm not sure what the money situation on Prism was. I remember them being somewhat low somewhere. So
Yeah,
maybe just wanted to have extra money before shopping.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep, and so Prism now going in the mart. And does hit the basement first, which isn't further inkling on maybe wanting to have more money, because usually most runners opt to go do the shopping part first, then go into basement, because you can escape rope out of there, which saves a few seconds.
Snorms Zaspion just learned Bubble Beam, so that walls him from those fire types. Very nice.
Definitely nice to have until you find Surf.
Oh, those two moves could be pretty good. That second one could be a nice electric move. That would be really good for Prism, because he doesn't have any way of hitting water types right now. Although he's probably not going to stick with this move once he gets into Kanto.
Speaking of Kanto, Snorms just went over there. Starting with the Route 5 check.
I mean, I think cause confusion is either confusion or dizzy punch. I think confuse the foe is side beam. Ooh, we got fly now.
Nice find there. Definitely makes you worry less about where to go. You can just go anywhere you want and fly back to other stuff. Zephyr badge.
All these halves of the HMs we don't have.
Yeah, I mean, we just completed the fly set, which is pretty nice. But aside from that, we really have 3 badges that we don't have the HM for, and 2 HMs that we don't have the
Would you look at that? The poker gear. Now we can wake up that level 50.
Yep. And I think if Snorms really was still debating on, do you really want to switch up to Despion? Now you have one solid look at the Pokemon which you most likely would switch to. And considering that you have Fly, even the 2 items behind the Snorlax are something you can think about grabbing, because you can just fly away. That would feel a bit bad if you found Hive Badge and have to go through Dickens Cave again, but You never know, maybe the hype badge is just waiting there. Looks like Snorms is now going to check out what the level 50 is going to be. Nothing on Mystery Pokemon. Oh, on the Pokemon Fan Club present.
If this is something good, it'll definitely... Prism will definitely be happier with this development than Snorms. Because, you know, this Espeon's really good, but we're going to have to say goodbye to it if this is something good. That's a Suicune.
Well,
it is level 50, and it is, you know...
I think you hardly can turn that down at this point.
You can't. I mean, it's like a little on the weaker side of the legendaries, but it's still, you know, relatively strong and very defensive. Probably not going to die to anything.
Yeah, so. It has step surf potential, and it really does not die to pretty much anything. So. For these full item randomizers, is probably one of the better ones you can get. And yes, it's the legendary, so the XP curve is not that great. Oh, speaking of surf ability. Yeah. Level 50 Suicune, I think you probably have to run. I mean, moveset really does leave some... hope for improvement, but we saw Thunder TM that was in the mart that upgraded Thunder Shock.
Yeah, and Prism still has Flamethrower as well.
And we are finding stuff. That's a soul badge here.
Yeah, I can hardly keep up with all this. Like, we had nothing for the first 15 minutes pretty much, and now we're just finding everything.
A zipper badge check here. Nothing worthwhile though. And the Cherry Grove check. Doing the quick surf checks right now with Fly. Snorms, the turn in the Kenya as Prism is heading over to Lavender. Going to check out Route 12. Maybe Rock Tunnel. It's not in logic yet, but it's 5 items you could potentially grab very fast, and you could also go to Power Plant if you want to.
Yeah, you could do. We don't have the machine part yet, so it's not super appealing, but like you say, 5 items could be something helpful.
Not going to do it though. You have the fly point now, so that's the important part.
I mean, if we're not convinced by this Suicune, we are only 1 item away from being able to go to... Well, I guess 2 items away, because we can't actually go over to Olivine yet, but to go to the Whirl Islands.
Ooh, and Flash on Snorm's side in Tojo Force, and Prism gets Rock Smash off of the Mystery Egg check.
Yeah, this is not logical Rock Smash access because these Rock Smash can be overwritten. The way you get Rock Smash repeatedly is to with a squirt bottle and then talk to the guy to the right of that, and then there it becomes buyable in the Goldenrod department store. But we have 8 of them, so it's pretty unlikely that we run out.
And I mean, with Flash now being fully in logic, Rock Tunnel, actually 5 items are in logic.
Yep.
And yep, you could just do the Dark Cave. We can do Flash Chamber as Snorms is showing us.
We keep incrementally being able to check like a little bit more. We still don't have access to Northern Johto yet, but it's coming. Probably, unless it's on like, it could be on a Kanto leader, I suppose. There's still that chance.
It could also be pretty deep hidden still. And Hive Badge would open up West Kanto.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Stuff, so
that would be interesting. We had to do that first.
A Plain Badge would then open up a few more checks with the Waterstone Chamber, Slowpoke Well. So there are all kinds of stuff we can still find that don't really need to be North Johto access.
Snorm's gonna buy the max repels here. I'll save him a bit of anyway.
And we do see Prism go for the Rock Smash checks.
Yep, these are currently out of logic, but like if we have the capabilities to do them, why not?
Pretty quick, 3 checks. And we are really just a squirt bottle away that could come at any point.
Suicune's first test fails to KO a Slowpoke 15 levels lower than it.
Yeah. That is the kind of problem the Suicune really has. I mean, Snorms didn't grab the Thunder TM, which... speaking of Squirt Bottle, Squirt Bottle could be pretty soon. There it was.
Yeah, and there it is.
So Prism did actually in-logic checks, just didn't went to get the Squirt Bottle first. Perhaps the Soul Badge though. And Rock Tunnel itself, not having any more than the Squirt Bottle. Snorms is going to talk. Driven Power Plant though unlocks the check in Mrs. Gym. And the ability to talk to Miss D. If we ever decide to do Nugget Hedge Maze. Which, to be fair, with the Suicune we actually could do right now if we wanted to.
We'll probably want a few better moves before we want to do any serious fights with this weekend, though.
Yeah. And yes, true. There are quite a few other checks we can do. Still, so I don't expect either runner to seriously consider the Hedge Maze at this point in time. Looks like we are going to get the Rock Smash checks now from Storms, as they are in logic now. And we have Whirlpool on the Kenya return.
Well, so we have... Well, Prism doesn't have anything we need, but we know where the Squirt Bottle is, so we will be able to access Whirl Islands and that level 60 if we're not satisfied with this Suicune, and yeah, that could definitely be a play we see.
I mean, this early on, you definitely have reason to check out the 60 just to see if it's better than the Suicune.
Yeah.
And if so, you can just run it all the way to the end and have even less problems with fighting. It's not like Prism invested much into the Suicune yet. That Thunder is a Martium, I believe, or was the Martium, so you can always rebuy that if you want to. You have Surf and Strength.
Yep, Prism did not teach Flamethrower either, he still has that.
Without a squirt bottle, though, did decide to hit up the soft sand girls. Not a check, you always see this early. Oh, and map just opening up more. Going over to the power
Wow, we're
plant.
just
Take
opening
off.
so many places up. It's crazy. Now we can access the whole of West Kanto if we want to go over there.
Yeah. And we're really just a plane badge away from the entire world opening up. And looks like Snorms is just taking the point in time, or is just taking up the radio tower now that he has access to it. It's definitely an interesting choice at this point in time, but with how early you got card key.
Yeah, he hasn't checked. He hasn't done the. He hasn't checked the item from the guardhouse, so he doesn't have whirlpool. If he had that, I wonder if that might have changed his mind. But well, we'll see how this weekend gets through this. Like, it's it's way higher level, so you imagine it will probably end up one-shotting most of this stuff, but maybe not the stuff past the card key.
I mean, step serve definitely goes a long way. You have only more problem with water types, which again is supposed to be the most common type. So there's definitely reason that it could struggle. Yeah, already here, Thundershock, not the greatest move. The Polytoad weapon. We did see the boulder badge in the Union cave basement though. So, yeah, that's also 7 badges for Prison. And Prison is now going to go towards that power plant. Will find the squirt bottle and rock tunnel. Hopefully does go all the way through and does not get lured in by that squirt bottle opening up so much. Because, yeah, that hive badge is really... You do not really want to leave that behind. Oh, PrismZetta is hatching.
Oh, that wasn't too too long. It was a Geodude. Oh, we can teach more HMs to that, I guess, if we want to.
Yep.
So he is going to open up the check in Misty's gym.
And so far, the Suicune not having too much problems with the radio tower.
Yeah, as long as you don't have a water resist, you should be able to one-hit most of the stuff in here.
Yep.
Maybe not like Hypno or Blissey or something, but most things should fall if they don't resist water.
And I think for Blissey, there's strength on that Suicune, so
Yeah.
Blissey wouldn't be that much of a problem.
Well, at least it was on Prism's one. I can't recall if it was on Snorms' one too.
think so. Not sure though. But that is Hive Badge for Prism. So yeah, now the world is open to Prism. Going to finish off Route 12. And Snorms is done with the radio tower. First 2 checks, nothing worthwhile though. Getting a max revive is nice. You're not unhappy to have that. And a TM. Going to do the False Director here. As Prism is taking it over to West Kanto.
Yeah, he could go into Victory Road as well now. Get a lot of items in there.
Another very quick set of checks to do. And there's a basement key.
Alright, so that's something that makes doing what Snorms is doing, clearing out the rockets, a bit more of an attractive proposition. Opening up clearing them out of the basement so you don't have to do all those fights. Get those checks down there, there are a lot of them.
Oh, and False Director just handing out black glasses that Storms cannot pick up.
Well, I like to think that's just his disguise, like, if I put on these sunglasses, nobody will know that I'm not the real director.
And now Snorms gets Whirlpool. Looks like Snorms is going to Northern Johto.
Yeah, we'll see how soon he goes towards Whirl Islands.
Victory Road pretty empty. And Snorms is going over towards the east. Check at least a few items out here in Mount Mortar.
Yep, you can't check anything behind the boulder or up the waterfall, but there are still a lot of things you can check here.
Meanwhile, Prism is taking it down all the way to the Route 27 item behind Whirlpool.
Yeah, it's nice when you have to just come back for this one check. He's already got all the pieces to open up all the items down here, and he's already checked the ones on the other side of Tojo.
Just no trouble though. And looks like Prism also now going to Northern Johto. So looks like we will still have to wait a bit on seeing what's in the basement, as one runner has done radio tower, but doesn't have the basement key, and the other one with the basement key is apparently not going to do radio tower anytime soon. Okay, Mount Mortar so far has nothing for us. Snorms is going to take it over to Lake of Rage, which we can full clear.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like Prism is going towards Whirl Islands, or at least the Olivine area.
Volcano Beach on Route 43. And yeah, there's not much reason to go towards Olivine if you do not really want to take Whirl Islands at the moment, because you cannot do Chuck, you're missing Plain Badge. You can do Lighthouse, but do not have the Secret Potion, which always does not really feel that great. And there's not too much items in the Lighthouse itself.
Look, I've been excited when the runners have gone, have gone this way. I'm like, oh, are they going to do this play? And then they end up not doing it. I'm not taking anything for granted anymore.
We do have fly, so at least grabbing the quick checks here and having a fly point is definitely worthwhile. And Prison is going up the Lighthouse as Snorms finds the mineral badge.
Oh, he can polka dot to get out of this scary lava tile fight if he wants to.
Seems to decide that surfing with the Suicune is the more attractive option, though. That's an SS ticket.
Drops an SS ticket in the water. Okay. Well, there's another check to keep in mind. There is one item on the boat, even if we don't need it to access Kanto.
And Snorms now going over towards Olivine. Let's see if Snorms also is going to do Lighthouse, or is going over here for different reasons. Oh, I believe Snorms missed out there on a rare candy, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, he might just not really care if he's got a level 50 already. And if he does end up reaching level 60, you're not going to need any candies unless it's something really bad.
Yeah. The candies really are not needed here in this ROM, probably. Still always feels bad if you see a rare candy that's not going in your bag. Missing out on a free level does not really feel that good.
There's a bit of debate in chat about whether, you know, whether it's optimal to go to world first or do the lighthouse first. And I guess ideally you just you're only going to Olivine once. You might not even need to come back to fight Jasmine later. So like while you're here, you could well do the lighthouse. But yeah, I definitely see also the point about Secret Potion maybe being somewhere else and you being able to trigger Jasmine while you're there. I don't know. It just kind of depends where things are, and you can't really know in advance where you're going to find this stuff.
Yeah. I personally would have probably preferred to do Wall Islands first at least. And Snorms Fusion would also more likely haven't gone to West Kanto first. Before going up the lighthouse, but yeah. Going for the level 60 is definitely something you can do.
You can
and
also
if you go up,
check the pharmacy item here as well. If you do climb the lighthouse first, ended up being nothing, but could have been important.
Yep. But that is the thing in the seed. There's so much open. There's a lot of if you do this and then this happens, you could do this or not this, and you really just have to pick what you prefer to do. There's no right or wrong answer here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more used to doing bingos where that kind of information overload happens a lot. You don't see it as often to happen that quickly in these full item randos, like, but there's just been so many items thrown at us so quickly that, you know, it's if you're just like, you know, I've got to make a decision, you know, maybe you don't do the statistically optimal things, and it's so hard to know like what is statistically optimal with how much variance there is in these races anyway.
Yep. And Prism will give us our look at the level 60 now.
Okay, well, that's Doduo. So that could be usable. We can just candy that and get a Dodrio.
Yeah, depends on your preparation, and you definitely can keep this for backup. I don't know what should make this Suicune struggle that the Dodu or Dodrio would actually be better against, and it does have Shadow Ball, which is a decent move to have. Oh, we also have Fire Punch in addition to the Flamethrower, so we could pass with that, and Belly Drum strats.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We kind of ideally want something to round out our coverage a little bit. Don't have anything to hit steals right now, unless we teach Rock Smash, but that's not going to be. If you did, Rock Smash would be weaker than Strength anyway. But yeah.
I mean, you have Belly Drum in there. You have some leeway.
Yeah, you'd hope that. I guess if you use Belly Drum once, the resistances don't end up mattering all that much.
But at that point, you can also just use Strength. Probably about the same damage, or still more. Takes a stab. We did find the machine part. This will allow us to check 3 more items. 1 at the power plant, 1 in Lavender, and 1 additional in Vermilion. And that's pretty much it here in the Wall Islands.
So nothing immediately helpful, but could gate an important badge.
And looks like Snorms isn't going to take a look at the Lugia, which is understandable. The Suicune is very solid. There's not much you really switch to. And I'm not sure about the TM situation Snorms is in, but we didn't have the greatest set. Snorms didn't use the flamethrower TM already. So
yeah, with this week unit, it's definitely like less about can I beat red and all the counter gym leaders, but more like how quickly can I beat red and all the gym leaders. And I think Snorms just, has kind of weighed up in his head whether a level 60 is going to make up the time it takes to go down and get it, and he's decided it's not going to be worth it.
Also, we did see we do have at least an Aurora Beam TM, so in combination with Thunder of the Mart, we can get a perfect coverage moveset like this if we want to for the Suicune. If it's going to matter, who knows. But we do have some options to make that work. Meanwhile, we do have Prism now in the radio tower. Makes sense with the basement items and Prospect 2 and Snorms. Turning in the machine part will probably lead him eventually to Vermilion, from where he can go over to West Kanto. And that was another rare candy that Snorms didn't get to pick up.
Alright, then we'll get this one more item before we can decide whether World Islands was a complete waste of time or not. Well, it was a complete waste of time. There you go.
Prism at least got the different main of it, so
yeah.
In that sense, Prism has not done as much of a time waste as Snorms did.
Snorms get his basement key in bootleg Viridian Forest.
So we probably will see Snorms going to do basement pretty soon. Without the playing badge, without the clear bell, you really do not have much else attractive options. Could do knockout if you can't release this if you want to. Doing a quick Sabrina fight, maybe go down to Fuchsia to get that Route 15 item check too.
Yeah, of course. Now that we have access to West Kanto, we can even access Janine from the Blaine side, and then we don't have to fight we can skip a trainer you'd normally have to fight on if you approach from Cycling Road.
True. So there are some options there, but not too many. Of course, could always do checks in Necrotique. Do have Rock Smash, we do have Strength. No, we do not have Strength. We do not have Plan Bitch. But we do have that Rock Smash item in Burn Tower. There are Kimono Girls. There is Morty. Those are checks. But neither of them are as dense or appealing as the basement currently. And of course we do have the Rocket Hideout, which has up to 30 checks if you count Price and the guardhouse item too. But that's also very slow.
Yeah, it's kind of something that's a bit more attractive if you have a lower level main you want to train up a bit. But for these guys, it's just going to be a long slog of fights that aren't really going. It isn't going to really help your main.
I mean, if the basement does not have anything, we are at the point where we do have to decide, okay, where are we looking for the plane badge or something else that opens up more stuff, and then you have basically the decision between some single or two of checks with the candle leaders and stuff, or that long slog of up to 13 items. I think at that point you cannot really reasonably delay it for much longer. I mean, there's always the chance that you can just that you have to go to E4.
Yeah, it seems crazy to say that based on like how much progress we've already gotten. But yeah, you never know.
It is a viable option for the logic to place an item there, and the plane badge behind E4 is a thing that can happen. It is not likely to happen, not even remotely, but it can always be just that one seed where it does.
Snorms is doing that Blaine play, presumably into Janine afterwards, or at least the item East of Fuchsia. But yeah, Blaine, one of those really quick leaders, just go in the room, fight him, boom.
3 Pokemon. Could be a problem since there's one level 50 in there, but with the level 50 plus Suicune, that's not the point of worry, so yeah, in general, it would be a very fast check. Setting up 1x special, Suicune definitely can take a bit of help.
Oh, yeah, that's a very nice Blaine for Snorms.
Yep. And Prism is taking it immediately to the basement. No surprise there.
Here we are in Fuchsia, straight into Janine. She has a few more Pokemon than Blaine, but she also gives you 2 items. So definitely a worthwhile gym leader to take out.
And the Pokemon are lower level, so maybe not even needing even like special even here. Oh, it's routine a bit unfortunate. Snorms does not have an ice move on the Suicune yet, so Bite unfortunately not strong enough with the Suicune to take it out in one hit. But that's just one poke. That would have been basically the same amount of turns that setting up next special for that would have been. And Janine wasn't required. Prism has taken care of Rival 4. We now proceed to check out the items in the basement.
Just like Snorms won't be far behind either.
That's overworld. Could have been potentially useful in other seats. Not here though.
Yeah, now we can access a level 40 after being able to access a level 50 and a level 60.
Another max revive. Looks like Prism intends to do a bit of shopping here, going to do the director first before the item in the mart. And there's the plane
There we
badge.
go, there it was.
And a Master Brawl now that we caught both the level 50 and the level 60 on Prism side. Prism going to do a bit of X item shopping.
Yeah, it doesn't really need any X attacks, but with belly drum, but I don't know, maybe some X speeds and some X defense. Guard spec if he doesn't have that. I'm not sure how much he bought already. He's got an X accuracy, so that's 21. Okay, well he's just flexing at this point.
I mean, he has the money, and
Yeah,
he
sure,
doesn't
why
really
not?
want to bother counting how many he really needs and then making the inputs for that.
Yeah, he's just like chucking a few bills on the counter, like, oh, just get me a bunch of stuff, you know?
Yeah. TM18 on the plane badge check. Which is kind of nice that you found the plane badge here in the basement, since you can just walk over to make this check. Don't have to do an extra follow for it. And now Prism is gone eastwards.
Yeah, now he can do those strength checks that someone wasn't able to when he came here.
I'm a bit curious if Prism is going to do the Mount Mortar strength checks right here now, or is maybe delaying them for a bit. We do not have either Rising Badge or Waterfall, so if you had one of them, you could potentially see or make the argument to say look for the remaining piece over at Route 44 as Ice Path or 45, so that you can route these strength lock checks back in with the waterfall lock checks, but does not seem that likely here.
I'm not even sure if that would save you a lot of time, because, you know, if you just did the strength checks here and then the waterfall ones later, you just escape rope earlier out of the waterfall checks. So I don't personally think that would be worth doing, but anyway, it looks like Prism. It looks like there was nothing there anyway.
Meanwhile, Snorms did decide to do Slowpoke well, which probably also means checks in Union and the Waterstone Chamber. Could be a bit unfortunate if the clear bell turns up soon and we end up going up Tentaurus soon. Which at that point you would have to make an extra trip for the Ho-Oh chamber. But you never know if that even is required, and clear bell could just not show up in this seat.
Yeah, it's a bit of a lower priority one anyway, because there is a trainer you have to find in the way, so that wastes even more of our time. He only has one Pokemon, I guess, but could still make a little bit of difference.
Of course, it means Snorms did now pick up the Boulder Badge, which yet not until now.
We're actually only 5 badges away from finishing this. Now we have been baited many times before in this tournament. Like, you know, there's been a lot of times where I've been like, oh my gosh, could this be the legendary sub 2 hour seed? And we just don't find everything until, you know, 2.5 hours in. But you know, you can't let go of the dream. All right, this could be the one that ends up being that the legendary sub 2 hour.
Yeah, it cannot always be the E4 required seed that you cannot see coming.
Yeah.
1 hour 20 in the ROM, but yeah. Again, you never know. You always hope, but you can never know. You are at the mercy of the seed, giving you whatever it decides to give you. I don't think you want to teach Spark to Pidgey. Oh.
Oh, he has Ice Beam. That's even better than Aurora Beam. Good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, Spark, Ice Beam. Okay, and didn't have Strength on there yet. Had Twin Needle. Oh yeah, that's a decent moveset. Of course, you would prefer Thunder Punch or Thunderbolt, but you cannot always be that picky. And Thunder is inaccurate, although it is stronger, so has up and down sides. Spark is a nice, reliable move. There's Earth Badge, so we are only 4 badges away.
Yep, one step closer.
So remind me, where was Volcano Badge again?
Volcano Badge was on Route 43. Prism has not checked that item yet. Hopefully he doesn't forget about it.
Right. I guess this says ticket here. And
it's
it's
going down
to pick
there.
up now. Person not going to the hideout is going to do the quick checks over the ice path and Route 45 Dark Cave first, which is probably to be expected. Has a sludge bomb TM for the Dorio too. Definitely it's better than having Dizzy Punch and Strength.
Yeah, it doesn't really help with coverage, but well, I don't know. Is it better than Dizzy Punch? I guess it's like, you know, if you come up against Tangle or Blossom immediately, it will one-hit those, but it's not a particularly great move.
I mean, if you have Strength PP, there's really not much reason to use Dizzy Punch.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't make much difference. They've both similar power. Dizzy Punch is a little stronger, but probably not enough to make a huge difference.
Prism definitely would prefer ground type move, or fighting type move at least.
Yeah, that's what you'd be going for sure.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay, well now that opens up Tin Tower if we want to do that.
That is a question. Tintower also has a lot of items and is not that fast. But with radio tower already done, I probably would prefer it over doing hideout at this point. Hard to say though. Like, they are kinda similar in that regard.
Snorms is going straight there.
You have to do fight 3 sages here and then have the Sweet Queen encounter.
Oh yeah, I guess we'll get the cries here instead of in Burnt Tower. That's pretty unusual.
Which is, yeah, definitely interesting.
Dang, Hideout really has 11 fights, goodness me.
Well, I think that's if you count the 3 electrodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a lot of fights in the hideout. Definitely way less fights for 10 tower, considering that we did do radio tower already.
Does the Pokeball work on the Suicune in Tin Tower? Because like I feel like if it works for Gyarados, it should work for Suicune as well, but I don't actually know for sure.
I have no idea. I agree with you that it probably should work, but who knows?
It does? Okay. Because, yeah, that's another Pokemon you can't run away from. You have to either defeat or catch, or I guess use a Pokédoll.
Yep.
Sorry, did I say Pokeball? Yeah, I meant Pokédoll.
I got what you meant, even if you said Pokeball. It was kinda... you could hear it both ways. But yeah, considering that we did find a Pokédoll as a hidden item early on, I definitely knew what you meant.
I think the Romans were Pidgey, and it's either Slowbro or Machamp, the second one. Not sure which one it is.
We are getting a second chance at them. Prism also going 10. Yeah, so overall, this is pretty close. Pokédex showed up. Can impact your menuing.
Yeah, you just gotta... Just the mid-run adjustment can be a bit tricky. So having it at the top of your menu.
No need to do that extra round trip just for a revive. There's Marsh Badge, so Tin Tower is definitely required.
Just 3 badges to go.
Can reset away the coin case. No need to gamble anymore.
Is that Sloper or Machamp? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd have to listen to Sloper and Machamp's cry next to each other for me to know for sure.
I couldn't help you there. That is a Dratini up as a whole, so that also would have been a potential option to main switch to if we wouldn't have had access to the Suicune and the Lugia this early. But yeah, it was just that Marsh Badge for now in here. We have 4 more checks that opened up because of doing 10 Tower. Snorms is going to show us them.
Yeah, we did get Pokedex as well, but that's not required. That's just there to clog up our menus.
I mean, technically we did encounter Mewtwo's on both sides, so if you really want to, and see if there is just another Pokemon that you might want to switch, we could do that, but...
Well, yeah, but they're not going to be approaching the kind of levels we're looking for at this point. Highest level Pokemon, wild Pokemon in the game, are in Mount Silver, which we won't have access to until 16 badges, and that's level. Well, it depends what time of day you set, but 51 during the day and 53 at night. Which is, even that is like about the same as our Suicune right now, anyway. So probably not something you'd want to go out your way for.
And Snorms is taking the hideout. Which makes sense at this point. You either have this slow but very many checks, or you have very many but slow checks. There's really not just anything attractive open anymore. You could do Claire, which has 5 items in Dragon's Den. But
Yeah, I think
low amount of fights.
I mean, I think depending on if we find nothing here, it's probably a bit more appealing to fight Claire because we are still looking for those. We're still looking for 3 items. If we're just looking for like 1 or 2, maybe it's a bit more tempting to do those quick Kanto leader fights.
No. Prison is going to do Slowpoke well, and then Waterstone, Hope Chamber, Waterstone Chamber combined, so has 1 less trip over here. Believe won't be find anything though. We did see all of those checks already. First 3 items and hideout are not required.
I'm gonna be right back. When I come back, I expect to be in go mode. I'll be very disappointed if we're not.
Well, look forward to being disappointed then. Prism finishing up the Waterstone Chamber. And let's see what Prism is deciding to do now. Biking? Hasn't Prism done the Zephyr badge check? Ah, maybe the TMO5 check here, right here, right. Just an elixir. And apparently Prism is going to do some Kanto stuff, but that looks like Blaine into possible Janine, so Snorms has done that first, so again, Prism won't find anything here. So yeah, currently looks more and more like Snorms is just ahead.
What's this? No more badges? Not in go mode?
No,
Disgusting.
Prism has just done checks that Snorms already did, and Snorms didn't really find much in Hideout so far. There's one more item that we will see soon, then we have to fight electrodes before we see another one. So yeah, this could have been a sub 2 hour seed, but it is looking not very likely anymore.
Looks there's still a chance. We could we could be in go mode after Price.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. Definitely possible.
Yeah, I think there's there's no debate that if Snorms would have if Snorms would have checked the Lugia, he probably would have switched to it. But he just didn't feel like it was worth going over there with what he had at the time.
Yeah. So far, though, hideouts not being required. Ooh, and Prism is going to do the boat check.
Yeah, well, this is sometimes what you feel you have to do, especially against especially if your opponent is as feared as Snorms is. Sometimes you feel you have to make these plays, and these items could be pretty much anywhere at this point. It's just a matter of making the right gamble at the right time.
Yeah, and as far as we know, hideout wasn't required, but boat could be. So, what does Price have? A lost item and an elixir. So, delaying the verdict on the rocket hideout. And that was just the charcoal. It looks like Snorms has gone back for the strength lock checks in Mount Mortar. So, one of the few checks that Prism did, but Snorms didn't. But the Prism a bit more time.
After this, I wonder what Snorms is going to do next. Will he go for Claire, who has a lot of items? I think that would be reasonable with still 3 items left. Or will he go for those shorter checks that don't give as many?
Maybe lost item into Sabrina first. You really want to know if your hideout play paid off or not.
Prism is going right for a Claire.
Okay.
So, to answer some confusion in chat, basically both of these racers are just needing 3 badges to complete the game. They need to find the Rising Badge, the Thunder Badge, and the Rainbow Badge. And there are a lot of places where it could be. So it is difficult to say who's ahead right now, because it will come down to who makes those checks. Because Snorms has done the whole of the Rocket Hideout, he's checked more items than Prism right now. Prism might just skip that altogether. Because it looks like the Rocket Hideout was not required at the moment, although we still need to check what the lost item gives us in Saffron City.
If the lost item is a badge, then Snorms has a considerable lead at the moment. If not, there is a chance for Prism to be ahead, but at any point if Prism would do the Rocket Hideout, the lead that Prism currently could have would be instantly vanishing.
But there you go, the lost item check was in fact nothing, so yeah, Rocket Hideout was complete bust this time.
Prism currently doing Claire, though this also can be quite the time sink, so remains to be seen if the 5 items in Dragon's Den are a badge. I think best case for Prism here would probably be there being actually 2 badges in Dragon's Den, and him being only 1 badge away could deter him from making this low very slow rocket hideout.
Yeah.
Try to get there with one-off checks.
Because there's a few things like, you know, we haven't done any, we've barely done anything in Equity even. There's 2 pretty easy checks in Burn Tower that we can do that we haven't really gone to, for example. And then that unlocks Morty if you want to do that. And 2 checks from there.
Yeah, but the other way around, if there's nothing in Dragon's Den 2, I can say just, okay, still 3 on remaining. There has to be at least 1 in hideout, right? So I would probably propel him to do the hideout more. There's nothing behind Claire Kill. And at that point, Prism would be in a very, very bad spot. It's a really big ask to look for 3 badges on all the one-off checks and ignore the entire hideout.
Yeah, that would be... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but...
It's definitely always possible.
It'll just... I don't know how it'll depend on how big a read Prism has on what Storms is likely to do, and like if he... and how much he feels he has to try and counter Snorms' usual plays. It's definitely harder to like read your opponent and what they might have done than in bingos, because you don't really get any clues, unlike with seeing the bingo board. But you know, that could definitely be a factor here, depending on how much Prism knows about Snorms' game and vice versa.
There is so much that can happen in 2 hours of time, and you really do nothing but what you see from the ROM, and you can expect from what your opponent has done. So with how easily accessible the Pokegear parts were, I think Prism can at least safely assume that Snorms got to this Suicune in a similar amount of time. So regarding mains, there's really no big advantage or disadvantage to be expected, and that can make you think that you are pretty close. But that is a Thunder badge on Erika. So Snorms did find one of the 3 remaining badges, and there were none in Dragon's Den. There were none in Dragon's Den so far.
Wow, Prism admits to cheating live on stream. Unbelievable. Ban this man right now.
Third check in Dragon's Den, not a badge. Looks like Snorms is going to show us Burn Tower. There's a secret
Interesting.
potion, which is 2 checks in 1 that open up.
God, it's another one of those, you know, almost last item. Oh, this quest isn't over yet, kind of thing. Yep. So, well, I guess you probably feel like you have to do that now. Like, you don't want to have. Don't want to bail out at the last minute, I guess.
Yeah, the lighthouse check isn't too bad. It feels bad to walk all the way back up, but you really you have done all the fights in there already, and the fight itself isn't that hard. So just take another minute or 2, get this 2 checks item check out of the way, because you really have to at this point. If you sink so much time into doing Claire and get nothing out of it, especially against such a strong opponent, that's yeah. You really want to be it. You really want it to be worth. And yeah,
beats a Ghost of Rival 3, and well, I'm not sure why he's setting off the Roamers, to be honest, but because all you're down here for is the check.
Well,
I guess you do need to do it if you want to do Morty, but you kind of blocked a bit now. I assume it's faster to do it the other way around. I don't know. Maybe I'm overestimating the amount of time talking to that guy takes.
There's
oh wow,
Rising
and here we
Badge.
go.
So only one more to find. So Snorms now may be inclined to look for all of these one-off checks or Canto leaders, and is not eager to declare.
Yeah, I think that seems likely. He's going to Soft-Time Girls, does not want to get burned by them.
We see if the secret potion does anything, and it's not. So Claire also not required.
Wow, so Rocket Hideout not required and Claire not required either. Goodness me.
We do see Chuck though from Prism, which I do believe we didn't see from Snorms yet. But yeah, Snorms now definitely in a great position here. Having found 2 badges, which one definitely is easy to get, although you do have to fight rival 3, and then Erika, which is a few fights too. So yeah, unless Snorms is going to clear anytime soon, this is very hard for Prism to win.
Yeah, it's I mean, yeah, with 3 badges left, it's just kind of hoping that Prism doesn't go for the hideout, because it is like the more of these checks that give multiple items you do that give you nothing, the more tempting that the hideout gets. And we know it's absolutely nothing, but for Prism, that's got to be a hard gamble to take.
I mean, again, you mentioned about knowing your opponent and stuff, and hideout with it being so slow, it is one of the checks you can just say, okay, I bank on there really being nothing, because there is always the chance to, and it has been useless quite a few times already. So if Snorms can get the read, if Prism can get the read that Snorms did the hideout pretty early and can presume he's behind, there is definitely reason to say, okay, I hope there's just nothing in there. Snorms wasted a huge amount of time, and try to really delay it, or never go there.
Speaking of Snorms wasting a huge amount of time, looks like he's going to be doing Claire. He's not going to be doing those one-off checks. He's going to be going for the density. And yeah, that's going to end up leading to nothing, unfortunately for him.
Yep, that can give Prism the time he needs. Does, again though, is not allowed to touch the rocket hideout. I think that would pretty much seal the race, except for the potentially foreplay.
I mean, it's even then it's hard to say, because there are a lot of Cancer Jun leads we haven't fought. We haven't gone to Nugget Head Mage. We haven't gone to Route 4. Haven't done any. Well, haven't done the Elite 4. If it comes to that. There's but yeah, it looks like Chuck didn't give us anything either. Too bad.
I mean, Chuck's wife did give us a bicycle instead of fly this time, so still movement.
I guess so.
And I think Prism is going to turn in that machine part now, which won't net anything. This could give Prism an excuse to do search, though.
Yep, because he will have to go back to Vermilion to do one of those checks anyway. And he probably won't ever have to come back to Vermilion again after that. So, yeah, reasonable. I said Elite Four and I summoned Nate.
Imagine V4 has waterfall. Which at this point we know that waterfall is in play. We are looking for rainbow badge on Snorm's side. Prism done with the machine parts, not flying away, so we get to see Surge.
Yeah, this one's a little faster than Erica, but it does only give us one check, so not. So you know, you trade a bit of density for a bit of speed here.
Yeah. And again, it was paired with another check, so
yeah,
does make sense at this point. Will be more interesting to see what Prism does after Surge.
What checks have we not seen yet? We haven't seen. Well, we haven't seen Surge. We're gonna see it now. We haven't seen Brock. We haven't seen Route 4. We haven't seen Blue. Haven't seen the Elite Four. Haven't seen the Nugget Hedge Maze.
I think that is getting close to
or Misty, seen. Obviously. That might. What else? That might be it, actually.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Because we don't have any access to the waterfall locked area in Mount Mortar.
We did all of these.
We haven't seen Morty either, or the Kimono Girls.
Yeah, true, Acrotique. A search wasn't required. And Snorms is almost done with Dragon's Den at least. And looks like Prism is about to get the Rising Badge. So this is necessary. But there's still Erica that Prism has to do, and Snorms will be doing the lighthouse in that time that would be required to do it. So Prism really is running out of time here. Okay, I guess Snorms can do Chuck, which would give Prism a bit more time to play with. But again, this is all under the assumption that Prism never touches Rocket Hideout. Which at this point is definitely something that I can reasonably see happening.
He's put it off for this long, and he's going to get one badge here, so it's going to be a little less tempting with only 2 badges left.
And especially with the badge he's getting Rising Badge, and therefore Waterfall being maybe an option to get a different set of Dancer checks once Waterfall maybe pops up. I can see the attempt to just skip the hideout.
He's not triggering the aromas, so doesn't doesn't want to have. Clearly, does not want to do Morty.
Which is, though, one thing that puts him closer to do Rocket Hideout, and it's happening right now. Yeah. And I believe that will give Snorms all the time needed.
Yeah, it is difficult to see. Yeah, this is going to waste a lot of time for Prism, unless he does the fabled ERC skip, where he skips like a bunch of the stuff, but that's pretty unlikely when he's just looking to do some cleanup at the end.
Then again, at this point, when you have delayed for so long and feel behind against potentially feel behind against Snorms, this is something I can still see happening.
I don't know. I think if you think the hideout doesn't really have much, you probably just don't do it at all at this point.
I agree, but still, now that he found Rising Badge specifically, he maybe can say, okay, maybe there's just Waterfall in the earlier part that would be required for one badge, and I can skip the later part. I don't say it's likely or something you really would go for at this point. I think it's much more likely that Person is just going to do the entirety. But I could see the ERC skip still happening. I do think, though, that Snorms is likely to find the Rainbow Badge before Prism is done with the basement, with the hideout here. And we are getting to see Brock, which is new information. And this is probably Brock, Route 4, and then Nugget Hedge. And Prism's biggest problem here is that he has also definitely has to do Erika. So that is at least some more checks he has to do. So even an E4 play won't just win the game for Prism if there's the badge required behind that.
Yeah, that definitely makes it harder to see him catch up to Snorms. But there are enough checks left that you never really know.
Yeah, I mean, Nugget Hedgemas also does take its time, and E4 is slow, yes, but it's not 2-hour-long checks, so in the end it is just 5 items. 5 fights. 6 if you do have to fight a rival, which both of them have to. They want to.
Snorms is going to Route 4 now.
Probably expected this at this point. There's a question. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, it's fine. It's fine.
There is a bit of a question if you do blue before Nugget Hedgemaze here first, which you could. Then can still fly to Saladin. It feels just more efficient in a way to just go over to Hedgemaze at this point when you're already that close there. Don't really need to fly. On the other hand, there's Kimonos, there's Morty. And blue is just one singular fight. Nugget Hedgemaze is really, really slow. There is still options, definitely. And from the looks of it, I believe Prison fought already the first trainer is fighting the second one, so there's definitely no ERC skip happening.
Yeah, there's no reason to fight the password trainers if you're going to skip any items here. If the last badge on the Kimono Girls, oh, that would be great.
Oh, that would be spicy.
It's one of those checks where, you know, if early on you feel like, oh, I could use a bit more money, a few more, you know, easy fights to get me some levels, then great. But these guys both had, you know, these both were level 50 before going to Akrutik, so not really on either of their radars.
Yeah. And once you put it off, you can just always find reason to put it off for longer. So it is an infamous check for being left behind or skipped. And it's precisely why some people like to do it early. Because they know it can give them a big advantage. There's something required on there.
Looks like Snorms is not doing the Nugget Hedge Maze yet. Bit too long for him to stomach, so he's gonna check to see if that secret potion yielded anything.
Which I imagine now means that we are more likely to see at least Kimonos or Morty before Nugget Hedge. But you really never know.
Yeah, he, unlike Prism, did trigger the roamers, so at least left him the door open to do Morty if he needed to. Oh wow! All right, big Tangler fan. Didn't even notice that the first time.
Okay, what does Snorms do next? Oh, the boat. Right.
Yeah, he might do that into Surge even.
Yeah. That
well, probably not, because it's faster to fly from the port anyway, I think.
I mean, you can still do that into Surge.
You can still do it, yeah.
I think you're. Oh no, you start on the pallet top fly point. Never mind. That's just after the boat. So yeah, there's still enough left that Snorms can do to allow Prism to get back into a decent position, but Prism has to skip out on some stuff that Snorms did. And still has to do Erika.
Yeah, the Thunder Badge was on Erika, so that's the difference between them at the moment, in terms of items.
Yeah. In terms of checks though, Prism has Search done, and the boat, which Snorms is currently doing, but Snorms has done Brock and Route 4. And actually, did Prism do anything else, or didn't do any? Yeah, did Snorms do anything else that Prism hasn't so far?
It's kind of hard to remember like these single checks sometimes. Like I'd completely forgotten about the boat for Snorms, because Prism did that a while ago.
I'm unsure about Sabrina. I want to say Prism did it, but maybe not.
I don't think Prism did it.
Okay. And Snorms is going to the blue, which is, again, new information. We do see the lost item here for Prism now, which might prompt him to do Sabrina. A bit annoying that
That's the fighting dojo. He was like, wait a minute, that's not the right one. Yeah, once this weekend is set up, it just heals it just heals itself back super fast with the leftovers.
Yep. So that is a big advantage of Pokemon like Suicune that just don't die. This especially on red. In the mid game, they can struggle if they are not as strong. So there's definitely where Dodrio has the advantage, but especially for these late stage fights, so allowing you to set up more easily without less sorrow can come into effect more. Prism going for blue, which unfortunately isn't helping.
Yeah, as long as Blue's lead doesn't do anything to hit Dojo for too much, it should be a fast fight for him though. So if he can belly drum and just sweep.
Can be a bit scary with the service fish, but Vital Throw definitely not doing much here. Cloister can always be a bit annoying. Has a very high defense, but with +6 it should not be any worry at all. Oh, and Snorms is on Morty, from the looks of it.
This is Kimono Girls.
Okay, yeah, 17, not 16. Which, again, is new information. Neither has done that. Oh, when Tyranitar lifts a Sludge Bomb, we'll now get those 2 full restores out. Oh, the poison not taking it out entirely. Strength also not 1 hit.
Wow.
Yeah, unlucky. And Kimono Girls have a full heal.
Oh, still waiting.
So now Snorms is going Morty.
This is going to be the ultimate middle finger to everyone who says Morty's a scam. Just have him be the last check that was overlooked for so long.
Well, there is still Nugget Hedge Maze.
Well, I mean, if he has the badge, then it'll be the last check.
Prism unfortunately not going for Erika, instead going to the Brock and probably Route 4. And again, this is probably given Snorms the necessary time at this point. Because if it's not on Morty, Snorms is running out of options to do.
Yep, after that it's either go to the Nugget Hedge Maze, Or go to the Elite Four. That would be it, really.
So, what Prism has to hope for is actually that Snorms does find Waterfall and it is not required. Because at that point, I believe Snorms will just go to the back of Mortar. And yeah, although that won't take too long, that would give Prism maybe enough time to get there. I don't think so, especially not if you hit an optional at this stage. But yeah. I really have... Yeah, I don't really see it happening anymore for Prism.
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, you're kind of looking at what Red's going to do, and with a level 60, with a Suicune that's higher than level 60, even if you get hit by something super effective, Suicune's bulky enough that you should be able to, you know, you should be fine.
Yeah, I think the only thing probably able to bring that Suicune into reasonable trouble is then Stab Thunderbolt or Thunder Zapdos, and it totally won't have an easier time on that.
No,
Anything else?
even then, you know, you'll take at least one, and you can like slowly chip that down, and then like set up on the next, revive enough times that you can set up on the other on something else. I think you'd be all right. I think it would take longer, but I don't think it would be unwinnable.
Yes, so I think there has to be an metronome, anything that's fast enough to outspeed Suicune and live at least one hit from Suicune, and then shenanigans.
just roll metronome guillotine every time and just never miss.
Yeah. I mean, not like it hasn't happened before.
So yeah, now we're just looking at Nugget, Hedge Maze, Misty, or the Elite Four. Remember we had like 4 badges left an hour ago?
Yeah. That's about right. I think we were actually at 3.
That's just how it goes, though.
Yeah. And Prism is going to do kimonos, so that does give Snorms even more time to do Nugget Hedge Maze or Elite Four. And that's the Hedge Maze. So Prism needs for this Hedge Maze leading to Waterfall Misty, which is not required, and Prism needs to do Erika and then say, I'm one batch from Go mode. I do need this E4 play to work out. I think everything else will probably have Snorms come out on top.
Nate is watching though, salivating at the thought of another Elite Four seed.
Okay, and we do have Prism trying to do more D, but has not activated the rumors and probably is just saying, no, not doing more D. Okay.
Well, he thought about it. He thought about, is this a sign? But he's like, nah, I should probably do the sensible thing. And fall down the hole again.
Yeah, and I think at this point we can basically say it's over. Because with Erika, that still has to be done for Prism, and then needs to find that other badge, which at that point Snorms, even if it is behind 4, will probably at least be on this at the same time on E4, if not sooner. Yeah, I think this is most likely going to be won by Snorms.
Oh, but now that we come this far, I'd be disappointed if it wasn't an Elite Four seed at this point. Got to see everything in the game.
Okay. We do have Headbutt as the first check here. Saving to see if we need that fight or not. Oh!
Well, we don't know.
Yeah. Well, there is still potential. You know? Again, there is that waterfall. If that turns out to be nothing, Snorms also does Misty, which is also nothing, and it is E4, and Prism does go do Erika first before all of this, and then says, well, if it's on like a maze, I've probably lost, I need to do this E4. There's a chance, but...
There is a chance, you never know. Just depends on what he decides to do after this.
What's the question?
Wait, did I see drill back on Snorms' thing? That's be pretty good for Dodrio if Prism has that too.
I wanna say that was TM, yes. And I was questioning, do you straight head for the backup point mortar or do you actually do Misty first?
Well, there are a lot more checks here.
Yep,
and
true.
it's not like, you know, being closer to Misty makes it quicker to go over there first, because flying there will still be faster, I think, than biking. So perfect. So yeah, I think it's definitely the right thing to do to go over here before fighting Misty.
Yeah, but you know that everyone will do this. So if you're potentially behind, let's say in Prism's shows, would you just consider, say, I probably don't win if it's the back, and if it is not the back, and it is Misty, that is actually given reasonable amount of time, and do I spy any 4-ply here?
Oh, I think so. And there's the rainbow badge.
Yeah. I think Prism did do what he probably would have needed to do, considering everything we saw, but yeah, it is unlikely, and as shown, it is just immediately negated. As Snorms did find the rainbow badge, is in go mode. Yeah, so... Unless this is that most terrible of red fights you will ever see and have ever witnessed. Snorms is in a good position here.
Yeah, it would have to be something just unimaginably bad, like just
I-
like we talked about just metronome always one hit KOing, and I don't know, that was kind of a meme suggestion. I'm not if there's something like that's consistently bad for Suicune, it's something more devious than I can think of.
Yeah. I mean, there was, I think, the very first race I commentated in this tournament. We had a red fight that took longer than 10 minutes on a Pokemon. It really isn't that weak, because, red lead with metronome shenanigans can do things, but I still think the Suicune is way better positioned than that, and it would probably need to be at least 15 minutes, if not more, of stalling happening here on Snorms for Prism to have a chance. And I don't think Omastar will be able to make enough troubles, especially if it just tries to use Slam.
Yeah, unless you just, is hiding another secret strong move, but it's just using Bide.
Bide
now,
is
so.
modest.
Yep, this is looking pretty free. Spikes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so only one no move we don't know, and Snorm says, well, this is more than enough. Oh! Spider-Man meme. But we do have Spark for that. Oh, there's a Shuckle. That would be probably trouble for most physical Pokemon. Good that Suicune is set up with special. Yeah, and a Magcargo to finish off.
Couldn't get the black glasses, but at least we saw Magcargo at the end.
Yeah. That is GG. Snorms winning this race with an official time of 2 hours, 32 minutes and 14 seconds. And Prism decided to forfeit this race. And we do have our races here for our interviews. GG's to both of you.
Bad because I feel like I was ahead for almost all of that.
And I would probably disagree.
Really? Because I've only been missing one check that locks everything else for the past hour.
Yep, that's pretty similar story on both screens, really.
It's just one stupid check. That's all it takes.
I literally had 5 locations left.
I have 3. I'm doing the Elite Four currently. I have Erica and I have Nuggy Hedgemaze. That's it.
Yeah, Snorms only had the Elite Four after what he did. So, and Misty, I guess. But yeah,
no one wants to do Misty.
Is all I had left.
No one wants to do Misty.
But Erica and Nuggy Hedgemaze are both required.
Yep.
Damn. All right.
So you traded back and forth checks that were not necessary for a long time after you both got into position where you only needed 4 badges. Snorms did do the hideout very early, which you delayed for quite a bit, Prism, but you did instead do Claire a bit sooner, which then turned out to be nothing. And there was that chance, if you never went to hideout, you would have been in a decent position. And
but it was the highest volume of checks. You have
exactly.
to do it.
This is exactly the seed I did not want. Having access to everything at the 1 hour mark, and then it just comes down to who gets lucky and does the right things. This was the seed I did not want for this race.
All right. Well, I am on Lance. Let's see. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, although it did kind of although that is like how kind of how it ended up, like people like just like it coming down to like the final checks. I think because of like the way you both did the checks, I think the race was ultimately, you know, even if Prism had done the Nugget Hedge race before the Elite Four, it would have been like it would have been won not by the those kinds of decisions. It would have been like because like we say, you did have fewer checks to do. You were like ahead on checks in the end, Snorms. So I think you know. I think don't take away from your good play this race. Definitely.
Super stressful though. Super stressful.
Yeah,
when everything is open and it's like, oh well, if there's one check that I didn't do that the other person did, then it's just over. So like at the 2-hour mark, I was so ready to see it done for like that half hour.
Dude, I thought this was going to be a sub 2 hour seed.
Yes, I had one badge left at 1:54, and I was like, all right, cool, right, we got 5 minutes left.
Oh, I was still missing Thunder and Rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big difference to the end there. That Snorms had already done Erica and found. Where was that other one that we found at the time? Don't remember which one.
Well, Waterfall was on Nuggy Hedge Maze, and then the last badge was in Mount Mortar.
I mean the one before that, besides Thunder Badge.
There was the one in a Burnt Tower, right?
Right.
Yeah,
the Rising Badge, for sure.
Rising Badge, yeah.
Yeah, so Snorms did manage to find those a bit earlier and was therefore in a better position that way.
I was kind of
overall.
I was really upset that we got all the radio card pieces because that Espeon was amazing.
We
I don't know. I really liked my Mew. I felt really bad.
It was the Espeon, like Snorms struggled with it right at the start because you did have only Razor Leaf and like Headbutt was your other option too. There was so many things resisted Razor Leaf early on. Like the first trainer in Sprout Tower had three Pokemon that quad resisted. Had 3 Pokemon that quad resisted Razor Leaf, and it just kind of didn't really let up very much from there.
Yeah, then I got crit in Falconer's Gym. That was a nightmare.
Yeah,
I felt really. I'm sure I was behind it after Violet, but I felt really, really far behind at that point.
You were a little behind, but then Prism had like, but Prism's moveset wasn't the greatest either on the Mew at the time. Like,
it was good.
I had a really solid Azalea. As soon as I was like Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Razor Leaf. Like,
that Politoed was an absolute monster.
You also
hated that thing.
Unbelievably unfortunate Rock Slide miss on the Ho into conversion into a fighting type. That was insane.
Yeah. Dodria with 13 attack. Okay, hey. You know, if I'd actually made it to red. But
you guys ended on stupid levels. Like, what level are you now, Prism? Like 72
or 73.
65 or something with this week.
Yeah.
Oh well. I don't feel bad. I just feel like I'm not doing Nuggy Hedge Maze and Erica.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Yeah. That was the shit. Fair. Apologies for the language.
It's just I'm always like a little excited, but I've got to keep thinking in the back of my head, like, well, you know, I've seen these in the tournament before. I've been excited for a sub 2 hour scene. It's ended up being like 2.5 hours, and
it would have been sub 2 if I'd just done Nuggy Hedge Maze and Erica before doing Dragon's Den.
Just do the right checks for it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do the right checks.
Go to the badges and not to everything else.
There's only 2 checks here, 3 checks here. There's 30 checks over here. Don't do that. There's nothing there. Do the 2 checks.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. Oh well. I had a good time. Did you have a good time? Other than the ending being kind of poopy, but
up until
Hundo Seeds. Hundo Seeds are Hundo Seeds. You can't.
They are. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to get some breakfast because I woke up just before this race started.
Okay, sounds good.
I have not eaten yet. Y'all have a good time. Good night. Well, good morning. Good. I don't know. It's good night for Snorms because he's in Australia.
It's 11 p.m. and I'm going to bed.
Good night. Good afternoon to our British and you're German, right?
Yep.
Good afternoon to our European friends. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Later.
All right. GG. But yes, Snorms, that'll be. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone to bed. He escaped from the seed. But yes, he's moving on to top 8 now. His opponent is yet to be decided, but yep, we'll keep an eye on that. So we've got a lot of other matches coming up this week.
Well, there's definitely one more today, way later though, at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep,
Will
I'll
be
probably
Mountebank
be
with Roshna.
probably be either asleep or very tired at that point, because that'll be 1 a.m. for me. But so that's going to be in roughly 10 hours and a bit. Yeah, 10 hours 20 minutes ish from now.
Somewhere around for that. It will be even later for me. So yeah, I will definitely agree with what you will do at that time. But yep, for all those that are just waking up or will be still awake at that time, that will be happening on SpeedGaming too. If you want to see more Pokemon Crystal Full Item Randomizer. Yeah.
Yep, and we've got. I think it looks like we've got a race, at least one race every day until Sunday at the moment. So plenty of full item randomizer to sink your teeth into if you want. But yeah, I think the runners have gone now, so not really any questions we can ask them. So yeah, I think the only thing really left to say is thanks for watching, everybody. I know it was quite early for a lot of the Americans out there, but yeah, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.